This 1981 Firebird Trans Am Turbo represents the end of the line for the second generation Firebird, which ran from 1970 through 1981, seen here. Now, after 1979, the 400 and the 403 were no longer available in Trans Am. So if you wanted the biggest motor you could get, the 301 Turbo was your only bet, with 200 horsepower, not a lot of power. And again, the turbocharger made the little 301s, 5-liter engine, make more power than it would with natural aspiration and a carburetor. And in total, there were 9,604 turbocharged Trans Ams built in 1980 and 81, and this is one of them. But this is also one of only 2,000 built as the Daytona 500 Pace Car Edition, or Pace Car Replica Edition. And again, the Turbo Trans Am seen right here. You can see the bird. There's no shaker on this one here. And the hood has a blister on it right here to make room for the turbo, and also to alert the driver of the status of the turbo boost coming out of the turbocharger. There's the lights on there that say normal, medium, and high. So we call this the turbo meltdown gauge. But with that said, this gives the driver a little bit of a little boost in his appreciation of the horsepower, 200 horsepower that this little 301 made. Under the hood, we can see the turbocharger units, and that's the smaller. One of the smallest Pontiac engines of all time. There's also a 267 at this period of time, but this 301 makes 200 horsepower, which is more than it should make. So it's GM was trying. So with that said, here's the turbocharger. Here's the hot side, that thing right there, and it makes a lot of heat. It will glow orange on a really, really long run up a steep hill. This thing right here, the cast iron structure, but under the hood, there's a reflector right there. It's a stainless steel device right there to keep the hood from blistering from the heat of the turbo. Standard air conditioning. Here's the smog pump. Emissions were part of the story. They had to be baked into these things. But again, Pontiac was trying. It's a far cry from the Super Duty 455 and the Ram Air 4s of previous eras. But with that said, Pontiac, again, was trying to build excitement. Inside this car, this is a Recaro edition, which is part of the Daytona 500 package. And inside we can see that it has Recaro seats, which were made in Germany. And in fact, this is the first General Motors car with factory installed Recaro seats. There they have them right there. And Recaro, the beauty of them is they have great side bolster support for high G handling. And again, the Recaro nameplate everywhere, and the door panels on these are embroidered with the Firebird logo, and we don't want to call that the Screaming Chicken. We call it the Phoenix Rising, if you want to be respectful. And this one has the T-tops, which were part of the Daytona 500 package. And we're going to remember too, in 1980 there was a Indy 500 edition Trans Am. So Pontiac covered all the great races in America, the Indy 500 in 1980, and of course Daytona 500 in 1981. Another thing on the Pace Car Edition were four-wheel disc brakes at the back of the car, something that arrived in 1979 for the first time on Pontiac Trans Ams as an option, but standard features on these. Something else we see on the Trans Am, going all the way back to 1970, this ducktail spoiler right here, which does exert some downforce at higher speeds, and of course the splitter exhaust system right there, part of the deal with the Y84 Pace Car Edition. And at the back of the car, we can see the word Turbo Trans Am. So Pontiac was proud to boast the fact that this was a turbocharged 301. And again, 200 horsepower, net horsepower, not a bad number for 1980 and 81. So that's the deal on this NASCAR Edition Turbo Trans Am. With the Dodge Charger about to make its triumphant return as the electric version now, or the 6-cylinder powered car in the summertime, it's a good time to take a look at a 1972 Charger. This is a third-generation Charger. The first ones were 66 through 67, the second ones were 68 through 70, and then 71 through 74, like we have here in 1972, with the third-gen Chargers, of course. So with that said, this one is a special edition, has the hideaway headlights, the SE. The SE was a special version of the Charger, again with the hideaway headlights. The domed hood is typical of the big block cars. It says 440 Magnum on the top of that. There's no air grabber on this one here, but again, 1972, next to the last year for this body cycle, which went through 1974. 75, a whole different creature, arrived on the situation. Front disc brakes, standard equipment at this point in time. Vinyl roof on this one here, has the tough wheel, and beautiful red paint on this one with the contrasting black Power Dome hood. And the SC would have the special roof right here with some ventilation or vents right here. and the vinyl top padded on this one here. And the long body on this is not to everybody's liking, but I happen to like them. Richard Petty did very well with these things in NASCAR in the early 1970s. And the add-on wing here, no harm done, looks cool. And the SC with the dual exhaust tips coming out the back. This one has a big block under the hood with a Torque Flight automatic. And again, the Dodge Charger and the nameplate is coming back with the electric versions. Again, the Hurricane engine will be along in the summertime. Inline six, twin turbos, more power than these things ever had from the factory. When they have like 450 horsepower, I think in base trim, the twin turbo Hurricane motor. But again, this is the 440 engine right here with 280 net horsepower, plenty of horsepower. Probably about 350 foot-pounds of torque, lots of power to make tire smoke with this. Not a battery inside except for under the hood to start the starter motor and fire up that 440 under that hood. So the Charger, when it comes out, will join this in the Charger's legacy of high performance and special interest automobile attraction. Good example here, 1972 Dodge Charger. Well, thanks for watching this roundup of the cars that will be auctioned on February 20th through 22nd at the GAA Classic Cars auction event. I enjoyed making these videos. I hope you enjoyed watching them as much.